Welcome to the Permanent Change of Station podcast, a place where friends can come together, agree or disagree, and still be friends. Join hosts Lynette and Brenda each week as they discuss topics they've been covering since their days as Army brats living in Germany. No matter the issue, these friends believe it's time for a permanent change of station.
Happy Saturday. This is Lynette. We're streaming live on Facebook and here in studio with the Permanent Change of Station podcast. And I have two great guests with me today. My cousin, Jewana, is here, and she brought along a friend by the name of Lauren Rose. And the topic today is living with alopecia. I was, of course, learned more and heard more about it when this became kind of national news at the night of the Oscars, when the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock incident came down. And then because my cousin and I are Facebook friends, she posted something about, well, this is something I've been living with. And I almost fell out of my chair when she made that post. I just thought, like Jada Pinkett Smith, that she was just this stylish, fashionable, person that loved to change her hairstyle a lot, and she was always sharp every time she did. And so by her sharing, this information, I found that it was a topic I really didn't know too much about. And so I invited her and asked her to invite a friend to kind of educate me and educate others in the process. And so thank you both for coming this Saturday morning to share about living with alopecia.
Thank you for inviting us to talk about the topic.
Right.
Well, either one of you, could you kind of give me and those listening kind of, what exactly is alopecia? How do people get it? Is it, something you're born with? Is this something that comes because of you have a disease, or is it stress related? Is it all of the above? Just where do we even begin?
All of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, all of the above. To my knowledge, it does not personally run in our family. So mine is a combination of health issues, stress, and over chemicalizing my hair.
Huh.
I think being that mine came on so young, it is hereditary. My dad has a bald head. My older brother does too. And my grandmother on my father's side suffers from it as well. Maybe not to this extent. And then when I was younger, my mom used to braid my hair, typical African-American hairstyles, cornrows. But I believe that attraction exacerbated it, made it come on quicker. I also suffered from, like she said, chemicalizing it. I did used to wear perms. And then going from high school to college was stressful. And also during that year, my room caught fire at my grandmother's house. So it was a lot. So I really think that just went on ahead and kicked it off.
Well, explain kind of the biology behind it. You said there's like a genetic aspect of it. Is it a autoimmune issue?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is it exactly, as you understand it?
Well, from how I understand it, it's an autoimmune disease that your body is fighting your hair follicles as if it is foreign. So it's like it's combating a virus. So it's killing them off slowly. And as they die, they never come back. So your hair follicles like shrink up to the point where nothing can come through anymore. And it can happen in spots. Some people, they can come back. But when it's really severe, there's really nothing you can do.
And then you also had mentioned that men can get it. Now, my husband, when I told him that I was going to do this topic, he said that there was a time in his life when, like you all have both said, he was going through a lot of stressful, situations where spots of his hair came out. Now, it came back, but he said it definitely was a stress-related situation, and he believes that he himself had alopecia, even though it was more temporary in nature and not permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are different forms of alopecia. I forget the different terms of it. I think Lauren and I have alopecia aorta, which is the permanent one. like I said, I forget the other forms, but I know
I know
that's the one that I was diagnosed with.
one is traction alopecia, and that's where now a lot of African American women suffer from that when their edges from the pulling and the tension that they have had over with their hairstyles over the years. That's a form. And then the other one that I know of is alopecia universalis, I believe, and that's when a person has no body hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so from your, experiences, how has it been? I mean, how old were you or how young were you when you got this diagnosis? I'll start with you, Jewana.
Mine started in my 30s with just a small thinning patch in the top, and it progressed
Okay.
as I got
And
older.
but were you thinking it was just the way you were styling your hair at the time?
At the time, I thought it was just the way I was styling my hair. I liked color. As you see, I love color. So I not only was I permanent, I was always trying to go blonde, and I just a lot of heat. So my hairdresser said that you should stop using so many chemicals in your hair. So then I attempted to go natural. So I went natural and I grew dreadlocks. But as the dreadlocks grew, they grew heavy.
Yeah, that's one
And that,
thing I'm
yeah,
noticing now, right? That I'm
yeah,
actually planning on getting these, taken out, here. These are crocheted, but even so,
they're heavy.
they're heavy. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I can just even from, at the end
Yeah.
of any given day, I feel the strain just in my neck, from
Mm-hmm.
just the pull of and the heaviness, the weight of the dreadlock itself. And
Yeah.
so, but
And mine were
fortunate.
down my back. They were
Wow.
halfway down my back, and I would lose like one or two at a time, and unnoticeably, between maintenance, they would fall out one at a time, and then I started trying to wear the updo to cover up the baldness in the top, and then gradually the edges started coming out, and then it was just getting too much to try to hide, and so that's when I did the big chop, and I decided that I would just stop trying to hold on to the locks and just do sew-ins and weaves and things of that nature with what I had left. But
Mm-hmm.
even that proved to be very stressful because the sew-ins still pull and put stress on your hair, and then the rest of the patches start coming in, and it just was like futile trying to hold on to what little I had,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what prompted me to go ahead and shave my head bald.
Okay. And do you have to continually shave it, or does your hair want to grow back in certain spots, or is it pretty
Just
much
in
now?
certain spots. As you can see, I have no eyebrows. So I didn't put on any makeup today. I have no eyebrows. I have no edges, and all of this is bald. And then I have patches around the rest that does grow. And the patches depress me more than anything. So I'd rather be bald than to look at the patches and try to hold on to what does grow. It makes absolutely no sense. What if I'm going to wear weave anyway? So
Right.
why am I trying to hold on to, those patches?
Right. Right. And then
Yeah.
how about you, Lauren? You mentioned that on both men and women on your side of the family had these challenges, and so how young were you when you started seeing it affect you?
18.
18.
Yeah.
And how were you wearing your hair at the time?
In high school, I wore a lot of micro braids
Hmm.
and a lot of what they used to call weave ponytails with the hump right there and the like I had hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my style for my first day of college was it was a sew in, but I had a leave out with my natural hair. But by that winter, it started thinning, and the part that I could pull back was thinning, and people were trying to give me remedies like, oh, try this, try that, tried it all. Nothing was helping. So as time went on throughout college, I wore a lot of quick weaves, and because they were cheaper. No, it was
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
perfect. And some sew-ins. I think I had a sew-in when I graduated college, but it was very raggedy. But I was holding on to what I had. This was thin up here, but this, and I didn't have any edges really, but this grew. this still grows around, so it looks
Hmm.
like I have a ball, a bald
I
cap.
call it the George Jefferson.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I would hold on to it. As years went on, I would use that part for my sew ins or just slick it back for quick weaves. But like Jewana said, it just got to be too much. Why am I holding on to something I can't use? I can't use it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what type of support exists out there for people that have alopecia? Are there, organizations, Facebook groups, or where can one, if they find themselves in this situation, where can they get some support?
There are lots of organizations for alopecia, but the one that I'm affiliated with on Facebook is the Ball Life magazine, the one run by Jamie Elmore, who was on Red Table Talk. I actually was following her before she was on Red Table Talk, but admired her for her being able to own her baldness, which is my ultimate goal. I haven't quite gotten there yet. It's baby steps, but that's my ultimate goal is to own my baldness and to, step away from the weave and all that. When I want to go out, just go out and not even think about it, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. How about you, Lauren? Are there groups on Facebook, social media, or any other entities that you are familiar with that are supportive?
The same lady runs this group. I think that page is public that Jewana follows, but I'm in the private group. It's called the Baldy Movement.
Okay.
Mhm.
But I just recently found out about that. Really, a lot of my support came from my family and friends.
Okay. Well, a question I have, again, I knew nothing about Jada Pinkett Smith having, this issue. Were you, either of you, familiar with her prior to the Oscars having this? Had you heard or,
I was. I
yeah,
follow her on Red Table Talk, and she showed all the classic symptoms that we go through. Always having her head covered, the scarf look, the wraps, and things of that nature. This is how we start out. And then when she decided to shave her head, and Willow supported her by shaving her head, also that's when she announced that she had alopecia. She also did an episode with Jamie Elmore from the Ball Life magazine discussing all the efforts that people go through and the support group on her show.
right. And so, what, I'd be interested in each of yours take. Did you watch the Oscars that evening? And, what has been, I guess, the word in the support groups and communities that you are involved with post Will Smith, Chris Rock episode? What has been the information or, I guess,
I didn't watch
interest?
it. I caught the social media frenzy the next morning. Lauren, did you watch it?
I did not. When I heard about the slap first, but did not know the reason behind it until the next morning. But what I've noticed, or still, coming to realize, there's still a lot of misinformed people, even
Right.
with this, coming to light.
And what kind of like misinformation? Can you give an example? Like what kind of things you were hearing that were kind of erroneous?
Well, the one that triggered me the most was that people were saying that she shouldn't have been offended by him comparing her to
G.I. Jane. Mm-hmm.
G.I. Jane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine for you to say, but G.I. Jane's hair is going to grow back after she finished doing that movie.
Right.
Jada's hair will not. At the end of the day, after you've gone through the process of building the courage to dress up, fix yourself up, and to say, I'm going to own my baldness today, and I'm going to go out here and I'm going to be fierce. And then to be laughed at by a room full of people from some ignorant person on stage who does not know why you're bald, and to sit there and try to maintain your feelings, and everybody's consoling Will. Nobody thought to console Jada, and that's the part that triggered me. It became the Chris and Will show when
Yes.
it was really the Jada show.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then it became, well, Jada and the August Alsina, so she don't deserve to be consoled. It's apples and oranges. One just has nothing to do with the other.
Exactly.
Right.
It's two different things.
Right. How about you, Lauren? What kind of things were you hearing that you felt were kind of, missing the mark or.
Oh, that she's sick, she has cancer, she's probably dying.
Now,
And I'm not saying
now, as a
that
person that's going through chemotherapy that loses their hair, is that considered a form of alopecia, or is that just considered
They can develop alopecia from the chemo.
okay?
Yvonne, that came with us to Texas, came
Yes,
with the family to.
yes,
Yvonne has developed alopecia from having chemo from her breast cancer.
gotcha. So it's possible that
So,
you can go through the radiation and
mm-hmm,
develop alopecia because your follicles get
yes,
destroyed through that process, and then therefore the
correct,
hair cannot grow back.
correct.
Okay, that's good. Go ahead, Lauren. Anything? What else?
that was really a big thing that triggered me due to personal experience, but not everybody, we're not sick. I don't want to be considered a victim, if that makes sense, when there are really people that are sick
Right,
and
Mm-hmm.
they could be sick and still have a head full of hair.
right.
you know but don't do that, because it, like Jewana said, it takes a lot of courage to show people that, to step out in the world like that. And I don't want you to be like, oh, she's only doing that because she's sick, not she's owning who she is, because you don't know the backstory.
And I had to tell you before, just watching the red carpet. That's the one thing. I watched the Oscars myself, basically just to find out what are the good movies, and to find out. I mean, because as I was telling Lauren before this, it's like just by the nature of my job, I'm, felony prosecutor, by day, and have one child that's a senior in high school that's got all kinds of activities and trying to get close to graduation, and so anyone that has a senior knows the chaos that's just involved with that. So typically I find out about things. I watch TV by whatever I recorded. I almost never watch anything live. So I, of course, unless I had recorded Red Table and had that as part of the recordings, I'm never going to, see it live.
Right.
I'm more of a kind of a Netflix kind of person or Amazon Prime. So if I don't see it, so I tune into the Oscars, for two things. One, to just see the glitz and glam, because I think it's just everything's so iconic. Just to see all the gowns and just the Hollywood. And in fact, I had been in Los Angeles the previous weekend before the Oscars, and so I was seeing how they were starting to in Hollywood. They were closing down streets in preparation for the red carpet event and the limos and all of that. So I tune in for that, and then I tune in just to find out what are the top movies that have been nominated, and then I go and watch those movies. So when I saw Jada Pinkett Smith walk the red carpet, I just assumed, I knew nothing about the alopecia angle. I just saw that she was in this beautiful green gown, and that she had her hair bald, but she's so gorgeous, that I just thought, hey, she's making a fashion statement that I don't need all this. I don't know if you've ever heard this song by India Ari called "I Am Not My Hair."
Not my hair. Love it.
Okay. I mean, that's like always been one of, my favorite songs for, since that album came out. And so I thought she was just making a "I am not my hair," type of, fashion, statement and everything. Now, how both of you are, professional women, too, and have your jobs and everything like that. Lauren, you said something that really resonated with me, is that I have this condition, but I'm not sick.
Right.
And so how does it ever come up at all in your day-to-day existence, is like in the workforce or outside of your family context, as your family, kind of knows, but outside of it, is it something that you ever have to navigate or deal with?
For me, not recently, but I did just take on a new job. But I'm pretty sure they would probably like, oh, she had on black hair the other day, because I will switch a wig. But as my
Right.
previous job, I was there for 10 years. And as we got more comfortable, they would ask like, well, Lauren, where do you get your hair? Why do you wear wigs all the time? And I had gotten comfortable enough to just tell him, because I'm bald, that's why I wear wigs. I don't, my hair doesn't grow. And it was one time, it was a Caucasian lady. She was so funny. She was like, well, Lauren, how do you get your wigs delayed? And I said, girl, because I just take it off and put another one on.
Right.
It was like,
Right.
I slapped this one on. I said, well, this one, I put a little lace front glue so it'll lay down. But the other one, I was like, I just snatched it off, put it up. She laughed, but I was like, no, because I don't have any hair. So it's not a joke, running joke, but it's just me, being, that's me.
Right.
It's just like being tall or having big feet. That's also me, so it's just a part of me.
Right.
And to be comfortable with that at the job, no, I don't get harassed or, had never been picked on, but we were so close knit. And even in my current job, it's so small. Maybe that's why it hadn't been brought up. Or my current job, I'm like the only Black person in there, so that maybe they don't want to offend me.
Right.
I go to HR.
But no one has ever tried touching your hair. You ever had that challenge?
No, I haven't. My daughter and my niece have experienced that, but that's when now the whole natural hair thing is big. Right. So they want to touch their hair and not necessarily us. Other nationalities want, oh, well, your hair is so weird. How do you get it to do like that? Now that I think about it, I've gotten approached like that too. Like, oh, your hair is so long and pretty. I said, yeah, girl, I bought it.
Right.
That was at the airport.
Yeah. I've been asked the question, is that really your hair? And it's like, oh yeah, I paid for it. It really is mine. It belongs to me.
Take it home.
And everything. How about you, Jewana? How about you in the workforce and navigating? Because I know, like I said, you accessorize a lot. It's like, yes, okay, and she wearing red, the hair is red. She wearing blue, the hair is blue. I mean, she's like, she's a fashionista. I mean, this is my cousin, but I'm telling you, she is always styling.
No, not here so much, but when I was in Atlanta, my choice in color was questionable on a day-to-day basis. I've been called strawberry shortcake when I like to wear my red wig. I've been called blondie. What we got going on today. And I have to keep you guys guessing, keep you on your toes. I have to keep evolving as I grow with this thing. But nobody ever asked me why. We just made it a fashion statement. But yes. Nobody's ever asked me why I wear the wig.
Well, it's been great having you both here on Permanent Change of Station, and I can tell you just from this interaction that you are both two people that are very comfortable in your skin, and are owning this, condition. And I, so appreciate you just, taking some time out of your Saturday to be able to, educate me, share, with me, and by doing so, share with people all around the globe as to, this issue. And any final words, Lauren?
For me, anybody that is suffering from it or, just not coming into it, embrace it, but go at your own pace. That's your journey, just like anything else. And nobody can make you feel bad for it or make you expose it if you don't want to. It's personal. It's personal. So, to go at your own pace and be who you are.
That's good. That's good. How about you, Jewana? Any final thoughts?
I just wanted to share a story while we were at your mom's birthday party. I don't know if you remember when she pulled me to the side. She knew about my alopecia, and the first thing she said to me, she said, you look so beautiful, but what would make you even more beautiful? If you had come as yourself. She said, I've seen you without that wig, and you are even more beautiful without that wig. I wish you had come as yourself. And I told her, I said, I just not ready yet. That's baby steps. She said, you are ready. And I want you to hold your head up. She gave me such a good, inspiring speech. And I said, oh, I missed the opportunity to be bold. And I was so mad at myself the rest of the evening because she caught me
Yeah.
Your
Well,
mom has that power to see
yes,
through
she,
people.
yes, she does. That's my mom. But there
Yeah,
will
so
be
I
many
mean,
more opportunities. It's all about the journey,
yep,
and
yep,
and we are all intersecting here on this topic, and there will be other intersections along the way. But it's whether it's alopecia or whatever it is, because I'm a big believer that we are all or have a challenge of some sort.
right.
It's like
Everybody's working on something.
everybody's working on something. My issue may be different than your issue, but we're, it's a one day at a time, one step at a time for all of us. So thank you both again. And thank you everyone who has been listening to this latest edition of Permanent Change of Station.
You've been listening to Permanent Change of Station. Tune in each week for the latest episode on Apple Podcasts or wherever you find your podcasts. And while you're there, be sure to rate, subscribe, and leave a review. Join us online at pcspodcast.live and on our social media platforms. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.